There is shame behind it, but at the same time, you're not aware that other people are going through it too.
For my family, money wasn't discussed, it was yelled about.
I would say I wasn't taught the value of a dollar.
My husband and I, we do not talk about debt at all.
If there's someone who's dealing with debt, I want them to know that life goes on. Just as well as things fall apart, things can fall back together. So first, everybody take a deep breath. Does anyone have any questions before we get started?
Can I get a nudge if I'm talking too much?
So today, we're here to talk about debt. And for a lot of us, our relationship with debt did not start with our first credit card. It started with what we saw when we grew up. So for you, Christina, how was money treated in your family growing up?
We didn't have much, so it was a lot of hand-me-downs and, you know, standing outside of the of the government food place. So it was tough, and it's very emotional. I'm thinking about it. Just the sacrifices that my mother had to make.
You know, it's a spoiled brat story, pretty much. So I believe that they didn't really put a value on the dollar amount. It was probably their first time coming into money because they both come from humble beginnings.
So I have 3 siblings. We never really talked about money with my parents. We knew that hard work was there and that's how you acquired money, but we never really spoke on it or, you know, how to kind of navigate that part of the world, I would say.
I would say money was abused, as there was substance abuse in my household. Money wasn't discussed, it was yelled about, basically. So growing up low income and having parents that kind of struggled with addiction, I feel like other people can relate, so it's a good thing to share and it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
And what was your first encounter with debt personally?
So the first thing I did, I went to one of those loan places and I was just like, how much will you give me? And they were like, we'll give you 300. And then I couldn't pay it back. And they came to my house and they knocked on my door. They were very aggressive and I panicked, like hyperventilated. I never wanted to be in debt again, so I shied away from credit cards. I didn't want anything to do with it. I just thought it was all bad.
I had me a gas card, you know, I needed it, thought it was gonna change my life, and then it ended up backfiring on me.
Not the gas card.
Yeah. You know, $400, that was a lot of money to, you know, be able to get around. And then I didn't pay it back. I thought I had more time than I did. You know, I forgot about due dates and, you know, everything that comes along with it, so. Thinking about the past, it just reminds me that it hasn't been that long since I've been in debt, so it's my best bet to stay focused so I can stay out of it.
My experience was right when I, you know, stepped on campus and they were ready to offer me a credit card. It was like $5,000 credit limit. I'm like, I never had to, yeah.
In college?
Yeah.
Girl.
I never had this limit, like, you know.
They didn't trust me like that.
Credit is something that's gonna follow you and be there. And I just thought like, hey, it's just a credit card or it's just a loan.
Parents didn't make enough to cover college, but they made too much for financial aid to cover it. So I took out a loan, roughly $14,000. And I just remember looking at that paper going, I'll never be able to pay this back. But at the same time, that was the only option I had. You were taught that was the course you go.
Right.
You know, you leave high school, go to college, get the job, and then proceed. Just compiled from there.
Why do you think it's hard to talk about debt?
Definitely has caused a lot of anxiety for me, but talking to people that kind of had their stuff together, I was very afraid of a lot of my aunts asking me what's going on. I'm like, making things up. Just the stigma, just feeling like you're like a failure, you're not doing what you're supposed to do with your life.
I guess there is shame behind it, but at the same time, you're not aware that other people are going through it too.
Right.
So it's just one of those conversations when they're not being had, it's just, there's like a mystery behind it all, I would say.
Okay, so now we're gonna put on our creative hats. When you think of debt, what does it look like in your mind?
I've always thought of it kind of as like the ocean, right? Like the wave. You get a little deeper out, and it just becomes harder to handle. You get your head above water, but not for long, right? It's kind of a constant battle.
Well, you know, in cartoons, sometimes they'll show like a big shadow, like it's big and scary, and then really it's just like a tiny puppy or something, and so like it's just like, oh my goodness, and then when you finally get a grasp on it, you're like, get out of here, like I got this. So
When you finally face the fear, you kind of take away its power.
Yeah.
You realize it's not that big.
Right.
I like that. But what about debt relief?
debt relief is like you're drowning and you're so deep in, and then you look out in the distance and there's a lifeguard coming like strong and bronze, like just ready to come get you. That's what debt relief feels like.
Yes, I like
I
that.
can relax.
Yes.
And we're thinking about relief. What are some of the other things that you do to stay on track financially?
To have earning to depend on definitely gave me a sense of relief. We don't want to always have to depend on people.
Kind of has become that shoulder to lean on, or that family member that I can just hit up and there's no stigma, no worry about what are you going to use this money, no questions.
You know, there's no hidden motive. There's no fine print you have to read, and it's very straightforward. It's that safety net with no long-term reportions behind it. Yeah.
And no hidden membership fees and things like that. It's been, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel some days.
It's not just to keep yourself out of debt or to access your money when you need it. It is there to support you along this financial journey. I appreciate how transparent you've been. You just met me today.
I feel like you were an easy person to talk to about my debt, because typically I'll say everything's okay, you know, and just pass it to the side.
We are all different, but we all have similar elements to our story.
Not something I generally talk about. It felt nice just to kind of hear that there were so many similarities amongst the group.
So I'm glad that you all are feeling a little more comfortable, because we're gonna start digging deeper into debt, but also we'll talk about some of the tools and getting back on track financially. And we're gonna do something that is unthinkable. And that is, we're gonna guess each other's debt amount.
Be easy on me.